So you're in the medtech world and you've probably got your eye on Malaysia. I mean, it's a huge, growing market, a perfect gateway to the rest of Southeast Asia. But, and it's a big but, getting your device from your lab into a Malaysian hospital, well, that's a whole other story. It's a maze of regulations, logistics, and unknowns. Today, we're going to give you the map. We're breaking down how a detailed feasibility study can guide you through it all. Let's jump in.
This is it, right? This is the question that starts it all. It's not just about having an amazing, innovative product. It's about whether that product can actually survive and thrive in a totally new and really specific environment. Answering this question honestly is the first and maybe the most crucial step you'll take. And this slide just lays it all out, the push and pull of it. On one hand, you've got this incredible opportunity, a market that's hungry for new technology. But on the other hand, you've got this massive wall of obstacles. We're talking about a completely unique regulatory body, confusing customs rules, and a whole network of gatekeepers you don't know yet. It is the definition of a high-risk, high-reward situation.
Okay, so here's our game plan for getting you through that maze. First, we'll lay out the roadmap. Then, we're going to decode those tricky regulations. After that, we'll walk through the journey from the shipping port to the hospital. And finally, we'll put it all together in your go-to-market blueprint. This is where your map comes in. A properly structured feasibility study isn't just a document you read, it's a strategic process. It takes all those question marks, all that uncertainty, and transforms it into a clear, actionable, step-by-step plan. So what is a feasibility study really? Think of it like a full-on stress test. It's a systematic investigation that pits your product against every single challenge Malaysia has to offer. The regulations, the import rules, the actual needs of the market. And the goal isn't just a simple thumbs up or thumbs down. It's to give you a detailed blueprint showing you exactly how to launch successfully. Whoa, okay, take a look at that number. 280 hours. I know, that probably sounds like a ton of time, but it really shows you the level of detail we're talking about here. This isn't something you can just skim over. It's a deep dive that's designed to find and solve problems before they cost you serious time and money. It's an investment in getting it right the first time. So how do you even begin to tackle 280 hours? Well, you break it down into these 6 logical stages. It all starts with research and strategy. Then you build out all your compliance paperwork, handle the official submission, and figure out the nuts and bolts of importing. But, and this is key, you also do the market analysis, actually talking to people on the ground before it all comes together in that final report. All right, let's dive into the deep end. We're going to tackle the biggest hurdle first, the regulations. And in Malaysia, that means getting to know the Medical Device Authority, or MDA. They've got their own rule book, and you've got to play by it. Everything, and I mean everything, starts with figuring out your device's risk class. Malaysia has this 4-tier system. It goes from Class A, which is low-risk stuff like surgical retractors, all the way up to Class D, the highest-risk devices like heart stents. Now, for anything Class B or higher, you'll need what's called a CAB review. That's a conformity assessment body, basically an independent auditor who combs through your technical files. Getting this classification wrong at the start, well, it can completely sink your entire application. And this is why that classification is so critical. Just look at these timelines. A Class A device might get through in about 45 working days, but a Class D device, you're looking at 220 working days, maybe more. And that's if, and it's a big if, your submission is absolutely perfect from the get-go. Any mistakes, and you're right back at the starting line. Okay. Quick but vital point here. As a foreign company, you can't just call up the MDA. It doesn't work that way. You are legally required to have a local partner called an Authorized Representative, or AR. This AR is your official go-between for everything, from submitting your files to handling any issues after launch. Picking the right AR is a huge strategic decision. So let's say you did it. You navigated the MDA, you got your approval. You're done, right? Not quite. Now you have a whole new challenge. Actually getting your device into the country and to the people who need it. Yeah, this is way more than just packing a few boxes and calling a shipper. It's a whole new mountain of paperwork. You need the right customs forms, something called an HS code for your specific device, and of course your MDA certificate. A huge part of the feasibility study is getting you ready for things like the DagangNet e-permit system, so that you're not scrambling to figure it out when a shipment is sitting at the port. And let's not forget about the money. On top of your shipping costs, you need to budget for import duties and sales tax. That can add anywhere from 6 to 15% to the final cost of your device. A feasibility study builds a precise model of these costs, so there are absolutely no nasty surprises later on.
You know, this breakdown is one of the most revealing parts of the whole process. We spend so much time talking about regulations, but look at what takes up the biggest slice of the pie: market analysis. Over a quarter of the entire project is spent just understanding the market. This proves it's so much more than a paperwork exercise. It's about making sure your device has a real home and a real path to the customer. So when we say market analysis, what does that actually mean? Well, it means getting on the phone, or better yet, on the ground, and talking to people, real people. We're talking about the doctors and nurses who will use your device, the procurement teams at hospitals who decide what to buy, the local distributors who might sell it for you, and even customs brokers. This is how you find out what people really need and how the system really works.
All right, here we are, the final stage. After all of that research, all of those documents, all of those interviews, it all gets boiled down into the final deliverable. This is what it's all for: your comprehensive go-to-market blueprint. And look, this is not just a summary of findings. It is a complete toolkit for success. You get a crystal clear regulatory strategy, a registration dossier that's literally ready to be submitted, a full import plan with a cost model down to the dollar, and a market report filled with direct quotes and feedback. It all comes together in one final, actionable recommendation that gives you the confidence to make the smart call. Go, no go, or maybe even pivot your strategy. So let's wrap it up with this one simple question. You've already done the incredibly hard part. You've created an innovative medical device that can change lives. But in a market as promising and as complex as Malaysia, just having the innovation isn't enough. You have to ask yourself, do you also have the right map?